Welcome to Aussie Slot Car, a channel predominantly for Australian slot car enthusiasts, but don't let that put you off if you're not an Australian and not interested in Australian slot cars. There will be other cars you don't know what'll turn up. These two cars here are what started my obsession with slot cars. In 2003, Scalextric actually released their first Australian-made cars, as in Australian auto manufacturers, i.e. Ford Australia and GMH, General Motors Holden Australia. This is a VX Commodore driven by Russell Ingall in the Australian Touring Car Championship in 2002, I believe. This is the Marcus Ambrose vehicle, Stone Brothers Pertec Racing. It was the first time that Scalextric had actually released cars that were made by Australian companies. Very early on, Scalextric had released a set with a pair of Minis, one driven by Peter Manton, the other by Brian Foley. They are the first Australian Scalextric cars that you can get. It's an extremely rare set to find. I haven't found one yet. I do have a pair of the cars, but I don't have a set. I would really like a set. This is my racing garage, and as you can see, there's a General Lee, not an Australian car. This is a Pioneer example of the General Lee, and there's a L88 Corvette. This is just a really great car, races really well. It has its front engine, has a tail shaft, just is excellent racing car, and I've modified it, made it into a rag top. Pretty much all my cars in this box are modified. This car was purchased, the front end had been lowered. I actually lowered the rear end, so it was lowered the same amount all round. Same with this car on eBay. This was purchased with just the front end lowered. I brought the rear down. This car came out at the same time, the Garth Tander VX Commodore. This isn't modified at all. This is the Stephen Johnson AU, Dick Johnson Racing Shell Helix car. This has been modified. This was purchased this way. It was a pretty poor job. I tidied it up, made it the same level all around, but you can see that it had been lowered quite a bit on the passenger side, but not on the driver's side, so it didn't sit properly on the track. I fixed that up. This car is quite unique in that somebody put clear windows in it. These are impact resistant vehicles. They never came out with the clear windows, so that has a driver. I put a roll bar in just to make it a bit better. I've got to get some decals from Pados for the windows to finish that off, and that was really low. That just dragged on the track. You couldn't even race it. It was ridiculous. So I had to reset that so that it could actually be raced without just scraping away on the track. This is one of the first, or the first, road car version that Scalextric produced. I've customised it as Victorian number plates, set of Corvette wheels from the L88 shown earlier. I raised the driver because the driver was in a ridiculously low position, looked like a 12-year-old. This would have to be my favourite, the XB Falcon Black. Not officially called a Mad Max car because Scalextric didn't pay the licensing fees, but it is the Mad Max Interceptor. I've done modifications. I put a blower belt on. I removed the quarter windows because I don't like the look of the quarter windows. I put chrome tips on the exhaust. I opened up the front air vents. So this is my favourite, along with the General Lee. There's a Moffat XW, a Moffat XB, and a Murphy Commodore VY, I think. Pretty sure it's a VY. This is modified as well. It's been lowered. It was purchased that way. It's also a pair of 1960s Australian made Scalextric. These were made in Melbourne, in the Moldex factory at Fairfield. These are the only cars, the Lotus 16, the only cars made in Australia. Graham Hill raced one of these in 1959. So this is my racing garage, and there will be plenty more videos in the future with reviews of cars, racing facilities such that are left. A lot of them have closed down, and welcome to Aussie Slot Car, and I hope you enjoy my channel and the upcoming videos.